Hello, and welcome to the TrAMS User Management Training. In this video, we will navigate through the basics of user management in the Transit Award Management System. This video is not a comprehensive guide to user management, but by the end, you should have a basic understanding of the user management actions necessary to use TrAMS. This training will cover the following topics: FACES overview, TrAMS user management roles, user management actions, create user action, updating roles, review role request, recertify users, review unlock request. We will now start with the FACES overview. User management for TrAMS is controlled by the FTA Access Control Entry System, FACES. FACES controls access by provisioning roles which give permission for FTA personnel and award recipients to take actions in TrAMS. In order to assign roles for TrAMS, you must have one of the following roles in FACES: TrAMS Global Security Manager, which is an FTA-only role, TrAMS Local Security Manager, which is an FTA-only role, and TrAMS User Manager, which is a recipient-only role. For more information on FACES, please see the FACES User Guide at the link listed below. FACES has 3 roles which can control TrAMS role assignments. In hierarchical order, they are TrAMS Global Security Manager, which can assign, unlock, and recertify roles for any organization in TrAMS and perform all other FACES actions. TrAMS Local Security Manager can assign, unlock, and recertify roles for any organization in a particular FTA region. TrAMS User Manager can assign, unlock, and recertify roles for a single organization, edit an organization's TrAMS point of contact, and update organization profile information. The FACES access link is listed below. Upon entering FACES, you will see the Actions tab. The Actions tab in FACES shows the complete list of user management actions available to you. Note that your Action tab may not list every single tile shown here, depending on your role. This presentation will focus on the following actions: create and manage users, review role requests, review unlock requests, recertify users.
Now let's look at how to create a new user in FACES. The first thing we'll do is navigate to FACES and then click on the Actions tab. This will bring up the Create and Manage Users tile, which you will click on. From there, you can select the user type, enter the username that you wish to add to the system. This is the user's email address. Enter the user's contact information, add roles as appropriate, and then click Create to create a new user. Only GSMs and LSMs will see all available user types. UMs will only see the organization user type. Creating a new user will permanently add the user's email address to FACES. This makes it more convenient if you need to go back and add other roles, or if they are deactivated at some point and then need to be reactivated in the future. Note that if an email address is already tied to an existing user, the system will prompt you to verify and update the user's information rather than creating a new account. Lastly, please note that you should only add roles that a user needs in order to do their job. Next, let's look at how to update roles for an existing user. First, you're going to navigate to the Manage Users tab in FACES. This is actually the landing tab in FACES. Next, you will use the search functionality to search for the user, and then click their email address to open their profile. From there, you will select the User Roles tab in their profile and click the Manage User Roles button. Here you can add, edit, or remove roles, and then click Submit to update the user's roles. Remember to always enter a comment to justify any role change. This applies whether you are creating a new user or simply updating roles on an existing user. And once again, please only add roles that a user needs in order to do their job. There's another way to add roles to an existing user. This is to go to the Actions tab, click the Create and Manage Users button, select the user type, enter the user name, find an existing user, and then add, edit, or remove roles, and click Submit to update the user's roles. This option is most frequently used when people don't necessarily know that a user already exists in the system, or if for some reason they are unable to find them through the home page. Remember to always enter a comment to justify any role change, and last but not least, please only add roles that a user needs to do their job. From here, we'll do a couple of demos to show how to create a new user or to alter roles for an existing user within the system. I am currently logged in as a user manager, and the first thing that I'm going to do is create a new user. There's a couple of ways to do this. The first way is to go to our Actions tab, and here we have our Create and Manage Users button. The second way is that from the home page, we can actually just click this Create New User button. Either one of these will bring up the same screen. So for now, let's go to Actions, and we will say Create and Manage Users. As you can see here, as a user manager, I only have access to the organization user type. It is already pre-selected for me. I don't need to do anything else about that, so I will hit Next. And here we'll add our username. In real life, this username would be someone's organizational email address. Please note that the username must be an email address, and also any users who are currently suspended will not be displayed and cannot be managed. So if you have someone in your organization who is currently suspended, you will not see their username appear on the next screen. From here, we can see the basic information that we will need to enter in order to activate this user. So I will enter just a series of test information, and then we'll pick it up from there. Okay, now we've entered a bunch of test information for our test user. As we can see here, we have test name, whose title is test title. Note that Faces does require an honorific. In this case, we have selected Mr., although there are a series of honorifics to pick from. The email address has already been entered as part of our initial setup. The system also requires a phone number, street address, city, state, and a zip code. And with this information entered, we can select Next. So here we have Mr. Test name. From this screen, we are able to add new roles. We will go ahead and do that now. As we can see here, the system has pre-populated several fields for us. The system is automatically selected as TrAMS because I am in currently as a TrAMS user manager. The role category is as recipient because I am a user manager. And let's select a role. We will select his access control group. This is simply the FTA region in which his organization is located. I selected DC as his state. That's in Region 3. We will select Region 3. And for an organization, this is a type ahead field. You'll need to identify your organization by either typing the organization name or its TrAMS identifier. In my case, there is a TrAMS Transit Organization test org that I can use here. Note here that there is an upload option for a justification document. This is not required. Faces does not require that you upload anything into this slot. This is purely there in case your organization has some pre-existing policy or guidance that mandates that a document be uploaded along with this role request. Last but not least, we will enter a comment that explains the rationale for why Mr. Test name needs the submitter role. In this case, I'll simply say that he is going to be required to submit grants for the TrAMS Transit Organization. And there we go. This comment is all you really need in order to justify why you have entered a new role for a new user. And from here, if we were to go forward with this, we would simply click the Create button. Okay, let's take it from another angle. And from the Manage User screen, we can select the Create New User button. And as you can see, it takes us back through the previous screens. So that's just an alternate way to create a new user. From here, let's look at how you would update the roles for an existing user. And at this point, we're going to need to start using this block here, which is our filters that will help us to narrow the field down to somebody that we need to actually alter. So I am going to select one of our existing users, and here I've selected one of our test users. As we can see, this person is currently entered as a test user in Region 3 with a couple of roles. In order to alter this user's role, I will first need to select their username, which is also their email address. and this will bring up all of their current information. I will then select their User Roles tab, and this brings up all the roles associated with this user and this button here, which is Manage User Roles, and I will click that. This is our Manage User Roles screen. From here you can see the current roles that I have access to change. So while this user may have other roles in other regions, I can only see the roles that are associated with Region 3 of the TrAMS Transit organization, because that is the only role set for which I currently have access as a user manager. And in this case, I can add a new role, or I can delete rows. If I delete this row, that will remove the role. If I click this button to add a new role, I would go through the same steps that I did when creating a new user to enter a new role for this user.
Next, we will discuss the Review Role Requests tab. First, we will navigate to the Actions tab. You will select the Review Role Request tile. You will filter by region if needed. You will select the user whose role you would like to approve. And finally, you will approve the role. The following users require approval: TrAMS roles that require a PIN, the submitter, official, and attorney. These are approved by the LSM. The user manager roles are also approved by the LSM. LSM roles, if assigned by another LSM, are approved by the GSM. FTA PIN roles, regional administrator and budget director, are also approved by the GSM. Note: do not upload the designated signature of authority letters into FACES. You will upload them into the recipient documents in TrAMS. Now we will demonstrate a demo on how to approve a role request. Your landing page will be here, but we will then navigate to the Actions tab. You will then click the Review Role Requests. There are a few ways that you can filter through the request that you would like to find. First would be, if you are familiar with the user's name, you may type in their name, and their name will populate below. You may also filter using the Access Control Group by selecting from a list of regions that's applicable to the user that you would like to find. If you select one, it will also populate in the Cost Center as well for Region 3. Once you have selected the user role information will populate. You should review the user name, the requested role, and the requester comments. Make sure the comments match the role request. Then enter your own comment to justify why you have approved the role, and hit the Approve button, and this will complete the role review.
Next, we'll take a look at recertification. Recertification is the annual process to validate TrAMS users. All TrAMS users must be recertified annually, or they will lose access to the TrAMS environment. GSMs, LSMs, and UMs are responsible for reviewing and recertifying users in FACES. These users are called certifiers. Recertification takes place over windows, in which each of the certifier roles certifies users in their area of responsibility. Certifiers will receive emails to tell them when they need to take action. A word of warning: users who are not recertified and lose all roles are automatically locked and removed from TrAMS at the end of the recertification process. Now let's look at the recertification timeline. This is divided into two parts: FTA recertification and recipient organization recertification. FTA recertification starts in October with headquarters recertification. In this step, system administrators recertify the TrAMS GSMs, and then GSMs recertify LSMs, TrAMS global viewers, and TrAMS DOL user managers. Next, in November, regional recertification begins. In this step, LSMs recertify user managers, TrAMS contractors, DOL reviewers, and TrAMS FTA staff roles. The next step begins the recipient organization recertification, and this actually lasts from December all the way through the end of January. In this step, user managers will recertify all the remaining recipient organization users. Recertification ends on January the 31st of each year, and following this date, any users who have not been recertified will lose their TrAMS roles. Next, let's look at a recertification example. You'll start on the FACES landing page and then select the Actions tab. From there, you will select the Recertify Users tile. Clicking the tile will bring up the recertification screen, and here you'll see a list of users. You should validate the user list to ensure that all individuals have roles appropriate for their specific job functions. Select each user by clicking the checkbox next to their name, and that will display the roles that are associated for that user. From there, you'll need to make a decision about whether to recertify this user with their current roles. If you would like to recertify all roles of the user, you simply enter a comment to justify the recertification decision, and then click the Certify button. You'll notice here that there is an option to upload documents. Document uploads are not required by FACES. You can do this entire action without uploading a document. But if your recipient organization requires a document upload for some reason, this is where you would do it. Also, from this screen, you can manage a user's roles. If you see a role that you do not wish to recertify, you can click the Manage Roles button to specifically remove that role. If you don't want to certify any of a user's roles, you can click the Decertify button. Otherwise, selecting Certify will end the action.
Lastly, we will review the Unlock Request tab. You will first navigate to the Actions tab and then select the Review Unlock Request. You will then filter by region if needed and select the user to unlock. Finally, you will approve the request. Common causes for account locks are due to inactivity, where accounts are locked after 60 days of inactivity. Also, recertification. Accounts may be locked during the mandatory recertification process. Users are only allowed to unlock their own accounts if the account was locked due to inactivity using their security questions. If you cannot remember your security questions, you can also request an unlock from your user manager. If an account is locked due to recertification, a member of the user management team must perform the unlock. Now we will demonstrate an unlock request. The landing page will be under Manage Users, but we will then navigate to the Actions tab. There you will select the Review Unlock Request. You will then see a list of users that have requested to be unlocked. You will then click the name. This will bring up a list of their current roles. You will then validate that the user requires access to TrAMS, and this may require contacting the user. Review their comment and leave your own justifying the unlock. Then click Approve if you want to approve the unlock request, or Reject to reject. This concludes the user unlock requests approval process. This concludes our TrAMS user management training. Thank you for watching.